Hello, my name is Alvora Cruz, and today I will be presenting an evaluation of the second step social skills curriculum. In this presentation, I will review the social skills targeted, the intended population, the age range, program procedures, teacher usability, data collection methods, and the reliability and validity of this program. Second Step is a widely implemented social emotional learning curriculum used in elementary schools across the United States. The Second Step curriculum is a comprehensive program designed to enhance social and emotional skills in students. It is based on evidence-based research and is used in over 45,000 schools across the United States and the rest of the globe. The program includes various components such as digital programs, classroom kits, and professional learning for educators. Social emotional learning has become a major focus in education because research shows that students learn best when they feel safe, supported, and emotionally regulated. Programs like Second Step aim to teach these skills proactively instead of just waiting for behavior problems to occur and then addressing the problem at that point. My goal today is to assess the program using research-based criteria and practical classroom considerations. Throughout the presentation, I will also briefly connect the curriculum to real classroom practice so we can understand not just what the program teaches, but how it functions in everyday instruction. An overview of the program. Second Step is a classroom-based social emotional learning curriculum developed by the Committee for Children. It is primarily implemented as a Tier 1 universal support within the MTSS framework, meaning all students can receive this instruction. The purpose of this program is to explicitly teach students skills in emotional regulation, relationship building, and responsible decision making rather than just assuming children naturally develop these abilities. So, this is very explicit instruction. Second Step provides direct instruction, modeling, and practice. This is very important because many students do not automatically learn how to manage frustration or resolve conflict or even communicate effectively. Without its explicit instruction, these gaps can impact academic performance and classroom behavior. The program is available for students from pre-K through 8th grade, and it is aligned with the CASEL framework for social emotional learning. The curriculum reflects a shift in education toward proactive, preventative instruction in behavior and emotional development. So, in other words, Second Step focuses on prevention rather than reaction, teaching skills before problems escalate. Okay. Oh, sorry, I go back one. Social skills targeted. So, Second Step focuses on several core social emotional competencies. First, it teaches emotional recognition. Students learn how to identify their emotions and recognize emotional cues in others. For example, younger students may learn to label feelings like happy, frustrated, or worried, while older students examine more complex emotions such as embarrassment or even anxiety. Second, it targets emotional regulation. Students are taught calming strategies such as deep breathing, pausing before reacting, and positive self-talk, such as like affirmations. These strategies help students slow down their responses, which reduces impulsive or disruptive behavior. Third, the curriculum builds empathy and perspective taking. Students learn to consider how others feel and respond appropriately. This is especially important for preventing bullying and promoting respectful peer relationships. And fourth, students practice structured problem solving. They identify a problem, generate a multitude of solutions, evaluate the consequences of each of these solutions, and choose the safest and most respectful option. Finally, it promotes responsible decision making and self management. which are critical for classroom success. These skills directly support positive peer relationships, reduce disruptive behaviors, and increase academic engagement. When students are able to regulate emotions and resolve conflicts, teachers spend less time managing behavior and more time on actual instruction. Population and age range. So, like I said before, second step is designed for students from preschool through 8th grade, but it is most commonly implemented in elementary classrooms. The curriculum is developmentally sequenced. In early grades, lessons focus on identifying basic emotions and following directions. As students progress, the skills become more complex, including peer conflict resolution and perspective taking. The sequencing ensures that students build foundational skills before moving into more abstract social reasoning. The program can be used in general education and special education and inclusive settings because the lessons are structured and include visual supports and modeling, and they are accessible for a wider range of learners. So it is that tier 1 universal support. Students with language delays, attention difficulties, or social challenges can benefit from the repetition and visual structures of the lessons. The universal approach benefits all students, not just those who with identified behavioral needs. The or even students who already demonstrate strong social skills benefit from the reinforcement and structured practices that this program provides. Program procedures. Weekly, 20 to 30 minutes. The lessons are typically delivered once per week and last, like I said, 20 to 30 minutes. Each lesson follows a consistent format. The teacher introduces a new skill and explains why it is important. Students then watch a video or hear a story modeling the skill. The class engages in guided discussions. Students participate in a role-playing activity to practice the skill, and the teacher reinforces how students can apply the skill throughout the week. I do want to say that with the lessons being 20 to 30 minutes, it might not be ideal for special education classrooms. So in my classroom, I would have a movement break or a brain break every 10 to 15 minutes because I've realized that my students cannot sit for 20 to 30-minute lessons. This gradual release approach, the modeling, the discussion, the practice, and the application, mirrors effective academic instruction strategies. So these program procedures kind of translate to our regular everyday lessons, even though we are focusing on more social emotional rather than just typical academic instruction. This predictable structure increases student understanding and supports learners who benefit from routine, such as students with ADHD or autism. I know personally that my kids thrive on routine. If one little thing is off, they know it and they will tell me one way or another. The program does include teacher manuals, visuals, scenario cards, and multimedia resources. I love that they have kits and that they have a digital or digitized means of lessons, I guess. I guess that's the correct word for it, because teachers are also encouraged to reinforce the weekly skill throughout daily classroom routines, and so having them in a multitude of medias kind of makes it easier to already integrate into your everyday life or your everyday schedule for your classroom. These weekly skills can be taught throughout transitions or in conflict situations, which helps students generalize the skill beyond the lesson. So they see it outside the lesson and in a real life scenario. Teacher usability. One of the major strengths of second step is its usability. So the lessons are fully scripted, which reduces preparation time and ensures consistency. Materials are organized and ready to use. Clear objectives and discussion prompts are included. For teachers that are new to SEL instruction, this scripting provides confidence and structure. More experienced teachers can adapt examples while still maintaining lesson fidelity. So it's kind of a flexible program for both the newer teachers and the veteran teachers. This makes the curriculum especially helpful for new teachers and schools implementing SEL school-wide. However, successful implementation requires consistency, so skipping lessons or using them sporadically may reduce effectiveness. I know for my kids, I have to go over things over and over and over again so that they fully understand the concept. And I guess that kind of really helps make the implementation kind of successful. So it does require a lot of consistency. Overall, though, the program is considered teacher friendly and it aligns well with the existing MTSS and PBIS systems. And because it fits within the systems schools already use, it does not feel like an additional incentive, but rather supporting existing behavior expectations. So, data collection. Second step does not rely on a single test to measure progress. Instead, schools evaluate effectiveness through multiple data sources. So, teachers may use observation checklists and student reflections to monitor skill use. At the school level, administrators may examine office discipline referrals or suspension rates or peer conflict reports and classroom behavior trends. So the student reflections and the behavior tracking can show how effective this program can be. Some school administrators may even do pre and post surveys to measure the growth in social emotional competencies, and that can be done. You can even do that with the teachers themselves, and they can say, oh, my classroom is doing this well on social emotional competencies, or they're not doing this well. And then you can see the before and the after effects of the program's implementation. You can do that with the teachers, and I think it would be even useful for to do it with students as well, so you could see what they know before the implementation and then also after, and then compare the two and then see how effective the program is. So this combination of qualitative and quantitative data provides a more complete picture of student growth. Within an MTSS framework, this data helps determine whether Tier 1 supports are effective or if additional interventions are needed. If behavior concerns remain high, schools may supplement the program with targeted small group instruction or individualized supports. So we can break down this program and use it in smaller groups and have them role play within that. And it's kind of modeling like what happens in day-to-day life in social situations if you have a smaller group rather than the big group where everybody's watching you during that role-playing activity. Reliability and validity. Second step is classified as an evidence-based program, which is very important as we want everything that we use to be evidence-based and supported with data. So research studies have demonstrated improvements in pro-social behavior and reductions in aggression and disruptive conduct. Meta-analysis of social emotional learning programs have shown that structured SEL instruction positively impacts both behavior and academic performance. The program does align with CASEL competencies, strengthening its construct validity. Because the lessons follow a standardized structure and have been replicated across diverse school settings, the curriculum demonstrates strong reliability. So having all this data about the program kind of ensures that this is something that is valid to use within the school. And of course, since it does align with our MTSS and our PBIS frameworks, it's going to even give more validity and reliability. However, fidelity of implementation is critical for best results. So, in other words, the program works best when teachers follow the lesson structure consistently and reinforce skills throughout the day. And I think that even um, using the program throughout each grade level and across the entire school as consistently as possible, we can see how reliable and valid that this program can be. Lastly, we have strengths and considerations. So overall, second step has several strengths. It is evidence-based. It's structured very well. It's developmentally appropriate for grades K through 8. And it is easy to implement with it being scripted and having pretty much all the resources that you need. It also integrates well with existing behavior frameworks, so the MTSS and the PBIS, and both supports academic and behavioral outcomes. And we said that we could see that through the surveys and the observation checklist that teachers can do. It also promotes a shared language across classrooms, which helps students experience consistent expectations throughout the school. So, like I was saying before, if we implement this, not just in our classrooms, but across all classrooms and school, and I don't know if we all need to be on the same lesson, but as long as we are seeing these in the same way, I think it'll click for the students that, I learned this in a different lesson. We can implement it in a similar way, even though it's a different concept. So it'll click. However, it does require consistent time allocation and staff buy-in, and it is not necessarily a replacement for individualized Tier 2 or Tier 3 interventions. So, as we said in the beginning, this is a Tier 1 intervention, and that does mean that it is universal. Some students may need more implementation of this in different ways. So that would be our Tier 2 or Tier 3 if our kids are just not getting it, or if they just need more focus on these concepts. When implemented with fidelity and reinforced across the different settings, the program can significantly improve school climate and student behavior. And we can see that in our pre and post surveys. This makes it most effective as part of the comprehensive school-wide SEL approach rather than a standalone lesson once a week. So it has to be implemented throughout the school. I don't think I can reiterate that enough for it to be reliable and valid. And that's just something else that we need to take into consideration. I did use, for my references, the Castle framework. I did use the Journal of Applied Developmental Psychology and a article on child development. I hope that this evaluation is clear. It's like a clear overview for the second step curriculum and its role in supporting students' social and emotional development. If you have any questions, please let me know. I appreciate the attention. Thank you so much.